Hey y'all, that was a version of Mississippi Sawyer that I modeled off the playing of China Poplin. China Poplin was an exceptional old-time banjo player. He played in a unique two-finger style, and he was from Sumter, South Carolina. China's playing can be heard in a couple of places. Most prominently is this Smithsonian Folkways record, the Poplin Family of Sumter, South Carolina. Features China's banjo playing as well as the playing of his sister Edna Poplin, who played banjo, guitar. Sounds like she could play just about anything. Edna and China had a very unique musical tradition and sound that they inherited in part from their father, Henry Washington Poplin. And Henry moved from Anson County, North Carolina to Sumter, South Carolina sometime in the late 19th century. My introduction to the Poplin family was actually through a research fieldwork project that I conducted in 2018 and 2019. I was raised in Union County, North Carolina, which borders Anson County. It's right to the west of Anson County. As I was researching and learning from older musicians in the area, I happened upon the Poplin Family album and found that Anson County connection. I had the great fortune to meet Edna Poplin's daughter, Laura LeGrand, her husband, Fritz, also Clint Barwick, who was an amazing banjo player who learned from China Poplin and carried on that tradition. I visited them a couple of times in 2018 and 2019, and I learned Mississippi Sawyer from Clint as he heard it from China. We have a couple more sources for this tune. This is the second album. I believe it's released in 1965 on Melodeon record. It's got Mississippi Sawyer on here. It's a solo performance by China, and it's just a great all-around tune. And then the final thing, as you probably noticed when you clicked the clickbaity title of this video, China won the Galax Fiddlers Convention in 1965 and 1966. There are two recordings we have that are posted on Slippery Hill. One of the tunes is Cripple Creek, the other is Mississippi Sawyer. They both say they were recorded in 1966. I'm not sure if one of them was the tune he played in 1965 and it was just incorrectly annotated, or if they both were performed in 1966. I don't know if there was an elimination round, for example. But anyway, he won both 1965 and 1966 Galax Fiddlers Convention banjo competition, and Mississippi Sawyer was one of the tunes that we have recorded from either that 65 or that 66 contest. So what we'll do today is go over China Poplin's Mississippi Sawyer, get into the weeds of China Poplin's and Clint Barwick's two-finger style. Couple of things about China Poplin's and Clint Barwick's banjo style. First, they called their style old-time country banjo style, and that was to differentiate it from bluegrass banjo, which was very popular and still is in South Carolina. Their style of banjo playing is prominently played on a resonator banjo. China had a resonator banjo that he bought in the 1940s. It's an Epiphone original 5-string banjo. So much of the sound really comes from that resonator style banjo. Now you can play this style of music on an open back banjo, no problem there, but resonator banjo is the style that China played, that Clint played, and that a lot of folks in the Piedmont and the Sandhills regions of the Carolinas played and continue to play. China did not use finger picks, and he plays in a two-finger style with his thumb and his index. He's resting his hand close to the bridge. Clint Barwick did the same thing, combination of the pinky and the ring, or the pinky ring and middle, resting on the head, and then these two fingers, the thumb and the index finger, are picking the strings. This tune is played out of C position in the key of C. If you're playing with a fiddler and they want to play it in D, you can always capo on the 2nd fret, play out of that C position, and then you're in the key of D. This tune is fast. China plays it at around 160 beats per minute on the Galax recording we have at Slippery Hill. On the Melodeon record, the tempo is going anywhere from 145 to 155. So to kick off the tune, China's going to be playing on the 5th fret, and he's going to start with a roll that Clint Barwick called the 5-count roll. So he's fretting these two strings, the 1st and 2nd string, and the 5-count roll is simply first string, second string, fifth string, first string, second string. Now, the rhythm sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why it's called a 5-count roll. 1 and a 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how he starts it. So again. So after the 5-count roll, he's coming back on the first string. And you can pinch where you're pinching both the first string and the fifth string simultaneously. It sounds like this. So he's grabbing the 7th fret. And you'll notice that lick I did there. If you play bluegrass banjo or drop thumb clawhammer banjo, you're probably not a stranger to that particular roll or string pattern there. 7, 5. That's the frets, and then on the right hand, I'm doing first string, second string, first string, fifth string, and then he's moving down to the 3rd fret. So playing it up to speed. So when you move down to the 3rd fret, you'll play the same 5-count roll. And then same first string, and then pinch first and fifth. So together it sounds like this. Then you'll move to the 5th fret and you'll play this pattern. I'm going to throw a lot of notes at you, but we'll break them down. So again, he's playing the in and out roll. Pieces together. Now after you play that, you're coming back up to the 5th fret. You're noticing a pattern here, I'm sure. That sounds pretty close, if not identical, to the same pattern we just played. So let me just put all of those together for you so you've got it in context. Pinch again there before I'm coming back up to the 5th fret for the last time. We'll add a brush to this, and you can brush down with any or a combination of all of your fingers. And then you're grabbing that 5th string. And then it's important that you come back up with your index finger on the first string here. In that C shape to play a little bit of the tune. So now we're going to put all that together, playing the A part twice. Comes the B part. So we're going to start with a pinch again. We're going to pinch the first and second strings coming out of that brush. So we're doing that same lick that we were doing earlier. Now this is where it gets interesting. China does a very cool lick here. It sounds like this. What China is doing is playing that first string, thumb on the 3rd string, index on the 3rd string, thumb on the 5th string. So China is using a single string playing style right there. And on the recordings, he varies this quite a bit. So sometimes he's playing that 3rd string, sometimes he's playing the 2nd string. I know one of the ways he does it that I really like in the Galax recording is like this. So he's playing that 2nd string once, that 3rd string twice, back to the 2nd string. For simplicity's sake, we'll stay on the 3rd string, but feel free to play the 2nd string, the 3rd string, any combination that sounds good to you. So again, over the 5 chord, you do that 4 times. Back to the pinch on the C. And that's just a repetition of the lick that we did earlier. And you'll do that 2 times. So that's the whole tune. There's a lot of stuff you can add here. There's variation that you can add into the mix. China and Clint, both of them were great at improvising, and they had a lot of variations in their pieces. I'll briefly go through a couple of those so you can get a feel for what those sound like, and maybe some variations that you want to try and create that are original to you, that are some of your own. The first that I learned from Clint is over the 4 chord at the beginning. So we demonstrated how China plays the beginning of Mississippi Sawyer like this. 5 count rolls on both of them. Clint did something a little bit different. He would play that 5 count roll over the C chord on the 5th fret, and then he would play the F in an F shape. 3, 1, 2, that's your chord there, and it sounds like this. Another variation that Clint would do is in the B part of this tune over the 5 chord, and it's a variation or an inversion of the Scruggs lick, which sounds like this usually. Clint would play it this way. 1st string, 3rd string, 2nd, 5th. Sounded like this. So instead of that single string lick, you can do that modified Scruggs lick. The final thing I wanted to show y'all is the lick that China uses to end the tune. You can hear it on both that Galax recording and the Melodeon album, and it sounds like this. He's coming down with double stops, 5th fret on both the 1st and 2nd string, then 3rd fret, back to your C shape. That's how he ends both of those recordings. Brush, 5th string. He's not coming back on that 1st string. Well, I guess you could, but it sounds a little cleaner if you do brush 5th string. So now we'll put it all together starting from the beginning. Okay, I thought of another thing here. I think sometimes China is playing that Mississippi Sawyer, that single string lick on the A part. And I'll play it for you, and here's what I mean. I think he's doing that a lot. 1st string, thumb on the 2nd, index on the 2nd, thumb on the 5th. And I don't know if Clint ever played that lick on the recordings I have. I really can't tell or discern that he's doing it, but it's interesting that that's a lick that China seems to play a lot in this tune, and it's definitely on the B part. It might even make its way on the A part, so I think it's a neat little lick. Definitely something to try and incorporate in your playing. All right, that's Mississippi Sawyer, and I'm all banjoed out. Let me know if there are any other tunes of China Poplins that you'd like to see covered, and we will see y'all next time. Whew, that's a tough one.
Dropping down to number 12, judges. Number 12 on your sheets. From Sumter, South Carolina, playing the Mississippi Sawyer, China Poplin.